Now that we have found out that our currency notes are nothing but promissory notes, and for centuries, actually nothing has changed. Whatever we call currency notes is actually promissory notes only. So, I mean, that is something which is quite a surprising thing, that for centuries, human beings used only metal coins. And then for centuries, they used promissory notes. Even if it was made into currency note, it was still a promissory note. Before I go ahead, I want to show you the pictures of the ancient coins. Ta-da. So, um, well, wait, yeah, there we go. Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute. I have to first share the screen with you. So let me share the screen. And when I share the screen, can I get this as a thing? Oh, no, looks like I can't. Um, I wanted to show you something which is on internet, but it looks like it would not allow me to go to internet. So then let it be. I think I will advise you to just type ancient coins in images.google.com, and what you would find is this tremendous variety and designs, and lot of coins have something or the other written on them, but in the languages that we don't understand. So the only thing that I could understand from all of those pictures was a picture of a coin which was the coin which was for India, and it was minted by the British government, and it said one gold mohar. That was the only thing that I understood. Because everything else was written in the language that I did not know. But people wrote something to indicate the price or the kind of the metal that is being used or whatever, something like that. So just please, for my sake, go and look at the pictures of the ancient coins and ancient Indian coins. And it will be very interesting how beautifully, how artistically people made their coins. Okay. So yeah, so that was about the metal coins. And now we come to the thing which is actually connected with deficit financing, as I told you in the inflation lecture. So when the promissory notes were issued by the traders, it was not issued in the air, as I told you. The traders used to receive so much of coins, so much of silver coins or gold coins or copper coins or whatever. They used to receive that, and against that they would write the promissory note saying that I promise to pay so much of coins to the holder of this note. But there were coins involved, and at any given point of time when this note was going round and round, if somebody decided that I'm not dealing with this paper anymore, all that they had to do was to go to the trader, give the paper, and get back the coins, silver or gold or copper, whatever, but get back the coins. This is what was the basic principle of IOU or promissory note. Now promissory notes as well as currency notes are concerned. So then when the world governments, I mean governments of different nations, started issuing currency notes, started printing currency notes, they of course had to follow the same principle, right? That if anybody were to go with these currency notes to the Federal Reserve or the central bank of that nation, which is Reserve Bank of India for India, which is Federal Reserve for America. So you can go to that central bank of that nation, give that currency note, and in exchange, get the metal, the gold or silver or whatever. So nations decided that when they uh, issue the currency notes, they are going to be always following the principle of the currency notes being supported by the bullion, gold or silver, always. So whatever is the value of gold, only that much of currency notes will be issued. This was called the gold standard. So nations lived with this for quite some time. Then came the First World War. And I told you about the First World War in Germany. So Germany, when it came under tremendous pressure, it said, now who knows how much of gold is there in my treasury? Nobody knows. So I'll just print as much as I want. And they started printing currency notes like anything, not following any gold standard. The world was not fooled. The world realized that Germany is now printing much more than what gold it holds. And so they started saying that this is something which is now not of much value to us. And so Germany went into crisis because of that. The currency notes lost their value and things like that. But after the First World War, one after the other, many nations went into some kind of financial crisis. And by the time 1929 came, there was Great Depression. When nations were going through all of this, everybody remembered what Germany had done. And they said, well, actually speaking, it's not a very bad idea. We need money. We print money. We have the right to print money, so why not? So then they said, okay, fine. So what we do is, instead of having exactly the same amount of currency notes as is the value of gold, what we will do is, we will keep the gold, but our currency notes would be of more value than that. So if I am holding the gold of say 10 lakh crore rupees, I would issue currency notes which are much more than 10 lakh crore rupees. Okay. So first they said, okay, at least 60% of the currency value should be in gold. Then they said, okay, at least 40% should be there. So 40% was the last. After 40%, most of the nations realized that they can't even keep up that. They needed money. They wanted to print money. They printed money. Whatever happens to the gold standard, let it be. We don't care. Nation after nation after nation started just giving up the gold standard. As I said, first it was pure gold standard, 100%, in the sense that you issue currency notes only up to the value that the gold allows. If you want to issue more currency notes, you first have to get more gold. Then nations said no, 100% is not feasible. So they said 60%, then they said 40%, and then they said forget it. I mean it. They said forget it. And now the currency notes that you hold is not backed by any gold in any reserve for any nation. Let it be only. It is not just India or USA or UK or Germany or Australia or Canada or Kenya or Nairobi or Brazil. It doesn't matter which nation. All of these people have stopped following gold standard completely. There is no partial gold standard also. There is no gold that you can get if you take your currency note to the bank and say, I want in exchange some metal, zero metal. You'll get nothing. The worth of your currency notes is just the paper. It's just a fiat currency. A currency which is not backed by anything. A currency which is not held by something which is in reserve for you. It is just held by one thing, guys. Confidence that you have in your government. Reserve Bank of India's governor signs saying that I promise to pay the holder the sum of rupees 50. You believe it. And you say that this is what is rupees 50. Because The government of India says so. I have confidence in the government of India. And currency notes today are basically held just by the faith that people have in their government. The moment the faith falls, the currency loses its value. The moment the government goes for too much of deficit financing, leading to hyperinflation because there is too much money chasing too few goods. Now you would understand what I mean when I say deficit financing. Deficit financing is just government printing in crores and crores without having any relation with what is the production of the economy. And then you would have too much money floating around, too few goods, and what would happen is hyperinflation. So this is what the nations came to. They wanted freedom from gold standard, and to an extent they were right also, because economies after the Second World War were growing very fast. Every time my economy grows very fast, where would I go getting some more gold from outside? Then I value that gold, then I issue the currency notes. By then my economy would starve of money. By that time I do not have time to do that. I have to act quickly. As my economy grows, I have to keep making more and more currency notes to facilitate the transaction of this economy, which has now grown further. Money is basically a medium of exchange. I have to enable exchange. If the exchange world is becoming larger, I have to give larger number of currency notes in the hand of my people. I have no choice. So this was one thing, that it wasn't very practical anymore. Second, that deficit financing was something which was a very convenient way for governments to create money. They are not going to, by any standards, giving up that convenience. So gold standard was dead. Gold standard died. And now, as I said, we live with fiat currency. There is a question which a lot of people ask, that since we are not following the gold standard, does that mean that that is the reason why we have more inflation now? And that if we were all following gold standard, then no nation would face inflation? The answer is no. That is not true. Even if you follow gold standard, guys, there is going to be shortage of some fundamental good. There, a drought can come even when you are following the gold standard. And then the price of food commodities is going to go up in terms of gold or silver or whatever, it is going to go up. Similar thing is true when you have any kind of shortage of a fundamental good, which leads to increase in price for everything else, which means that inflation can happen even with the nations that are facing gold standard. Gold standard is not a key to inflation-free human civilizations. No, it is not. And that is the reason why we are with fiat currency, we live with fiat currency, and as a world for almost now 60 years, if not more, we are, no, not 60, 1944, so 60 plus 20, 80 years. For 80 years, we have survived without the gold standard, with zero gold standard. For 80 years, we have survived, and we are happy, and we are actually going quite smooth. There are nations who at times have had hyperinflation, but in general, for last 8 years, we have been going fine. So don't worry, fiat currency is here to stay, and it is here to be the medium of exchange, and it is here to make your life simple, because the money would always be there and you would have faith in your government. You would keep using those currency notes for your exchange. With that, today's lecture gets over, and we will talk about the banking system and things like that in the next class.